How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Box to Box with Arsenal out of Europe. The Premier League fixtures are coming thick and fast. Monday night against Palace, moves to Friday night against Aston Villa. I'm with Luke here, a big Aston Villa fan. How's it going, Luke?
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, excited, confident?
Do you know what? For the first time in years against Arsenal, yeah, to be fair. We did all right against you last year.
And that's not my fault, people. No, because on Box to Box, what I brought to the channel this year is I like to talk to opposition fans. We hear a lot from Arsenal fans, you know, online, media, everywhere we're talked about. But I want to get a perception from fans that really have very little to do with the club. And over the last few weeks, a lot of the opposition fans that come on confident.
Yeah,
they come on with a little negative towards Arsenal. But I also think that's the reality. It's not my fault that Luke has come here confident. It's the club's fault that Luke's here confident. Talk to me about that confidence a bit. Why are you confident?
So when I grew up, Arsenal was not a game we were going to win. You know, first time I watched it, it was Arsenal were winning 1-0 every single game. You know, it's a boring Arsenal thing, Graham Taylor, that sort of stuff. But now it's just like, if you don't turn up, and there's times where you don't turn up, you look vulnerable. You know, I'm not sure about the back line this year. I think against Palace you saw Ben White and Little. It's a sticky one.
It's difficult because prior to that Crystal Palace game, the back line is the area of the pitch that got credit. You know, a clean sheet against Brighton, Burnley and Norwich, albeit Brighton, Burnley and Norwich, and a decent enough performance against Tottenham led to us thinking, you know, the back line looks a bit more solid. Lo and behold, 2 goals shipped at home against Crystal Palace, so here we are.
Yeah, I think with a back line, it's not about how good they look at their best, and you've looked good, you know, as you say, though, against, you know, Norwich, against Burnley, against these teams. But it's, do they look vulnerable? Do they look like they can be hurt? And I think that's probably the difference between the top teams. You know, you sometimes go into a game with City and you go, do we really have the players to hurt, you know, Diaz, Stone? Maybe not. But I just think that, you know, the attacking quality we've got, fingers crossed Leon Bailey's back in the mix, and, you know, they're the sort of players that can hurt. So unless Arsenal turn up at 100%, you know, I'm confident.
And you mentioned Leon Bailey, and listen, Arsenal and Villa are probably 2 of the clubs that has very big transfer windows. How much did you end up spending?
So we spent 105.
And then Jack Grealish made the net spend just 5 million. On the flip side, we spent 150 million. Very big outlays. You talked about Leon Bailey there. Obviously, Jack Grealish has left the club. In my opinion, I thought Jack Grealish leaving and Buendia and a couple other players coming in, it made sense, but it would also require patience to get over that Jack Grealish hump, because he was a big part of your team. Everything went through him. And we talked just before the video about so far this season, your thoughts on Aston Villa, but let them know, what have you thought so far about the first 8 games?
I think what you said there is that we need patience, right? I think we've had our ups, we've had our downs. Against Everton, we literally played them off the park. You know, that was where Bailey really came through. You know, incredible pace, power. You know, and that's what we've missed. Even with Grealish, we didn't have that pace, we didn't have that kind of electricity about it. But I think for the money we got, I think Grealish going was a sensible business decision. Did it hurt? Of course it hurt. Did I want him to stay? Of course I wanted him to stay. But did
you predict he was going to go? Because you bought all your players in early, and when I looked at that as an Arsenal fan, we've done that in the past. We've bought Cazorla, Podolski, and then we sell Van Persie. And it's that 2 steps forward, 4 back. Is that how it felt to you? Or?
So we signed Buendia early, but we needed that anyway. Whether we had Grealish or not, we needed that.
And you beat us,
you know. And I was like, right, we needed that signing. It was when we started getting linked to it. When I knew was when we got linked with Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh yeah.
I went, was it this? Where are they getting this idea from?
You could see what's coming.
Yeah, you could see that they're probably trying to sell him and dangle the, look what we've done for Grealish.
Carrot,
let us do that for you as well. So that was the time where I really knew. When we bought in Buendia, I was picturing those 2 playing together, linking up nicely.
I bet you was.
But when we went in for Smith-Rowe, mate, I was like, yeah, he's going. He's going.
Yeah,
that was when I knew.
Did you think there was a chance to get Smith-Rowe because the Arsenal fans batted that away straight away?
No. Do you know what? I never really thought we would get, but I just like the fact we tried.
It was cheeky, that's how we took it. Like, what the hell are Aston Villa trying to take our best young talent?
Do you know what? And it's a bit of a wind-up. You know, Martinez has been incredible for us. We just pitched it to Buendia.
It
was. I just like the fact that the club's got, you know, some minerals. We haven't had it in the past. You know, we've been like, right, who's been relegated? Let us go and try and scoop a few of them up. Who's 4th choice in their position at this club? Let's go try and get them. I just like the fact that we were showing, actually, let's go and sign some players. Let's go and sign some people that are going to make a difference.
There's one thing on the pitch, but you want the club to move in the right direction off the pitch. Otherwise, on the pitch doesn't really matter. So those kind of things indicate a change, I assume, is what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, under Randy Lerner, things on the pitch were good. We were in Europe. I've been to some good European away games and some good European home games, and the problem is the club just wasn't being ran right in the background. And he gave O'Neill kind of, Champions League or bust. Yeah. And every year since then's been horrible. Even our first year back in the Premier League, staying at the last day of the season, horrible. It's a horrible season to watch. Now it just looks like the owner's in the background, even right down to Purslow coming out after Grealish had gone and actually explaining it to the fans. I was going to
mention that, because look at the owner we have, and I'm going to talk to you about Arsenal shortly, but when I saw your owner come out and do that, it was kind of I looked at Arsenal fans and I said, I told you owners can do this. Because I've been on Kroenke's neck for a long time, and I've asked for things like communication, clarity, being a bit honest and open. And a lot of fans will say, you can't do that. This is business. They're not going to come out. Well, your owner came out and explained it very thoroughly. And I think that goes a long way in you understanding it.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? It just gave me a little bit of confidence that, life after Grealish, it's not that bad. When he's gone and you brought in some players, but you don't really know. Did you bring them in because you knew he was going? Were they coming in anyway? Has Grealish been taken at the last minute and now we're going to panic spend this 100 million and, pay 70 million for some League Two striker or this crazy stuff?
Happens.
It does.
You handled it well, I think.
But I think, generally we got our business done. They must have known in the background it was going to happen, and ultimately we've invested, I think, pretty well. We brought in a combination of youth and experience. We've got some exciting players. So, all credit to the club and the board. If he's going to go, you want to get every penny you can. 100 million's a lot of money. So
it's looking good.
And
as always on Box to Box, I like to ask the opposition fan about Arsenal and your thoughts around us at the moment. It's been a stop-start to the season, I guess. 3 losses, 3 wins, then a draw to Brighton and a draw to Palace.
I think a lot of seasons are determined by timing, and I'd love to play you after the first couple of games.
Definitely.
I think that was
the time.
But I suppose it's given you a nice record. I think Spurs are now the fastest team to go from top to below the team that were bottom. It's given you that sort of stuff, and credit where it's due. You looked pretty good in those wins, and especially against Spurs. Last couple of games haven't been great, but I think you're going to have that pretty much all season. You've got the players that can hurt teams. You've also got the players that can be hurt. And you've got a few players that when they turn up look unplayable. And I was reading something earlier on about Abu Dhabi, and a lot of Arsenal fans saying how good he could have been and how good he was at times, and then at other times he was just useless. And I think you've got a few too many of those players to be consistently through the season. So, with this weekend and a lot of your games, you're probably going to turn up and play teams off the park, or it's going to be
played off the park.
It's going to be a long 90 minutes.
The other night against us, from large chunks of that game, 67% possession, 63%, and at the end we had more possession than them. But you look at what they did in possession and what we did in possession. Vieira with 8 games in charge, Arteta with 18. What's your thoughts on Arteta? Because I know Smith over at Villa divides fans' opinions.
He does.
But Arsenal and the fan base and what we went through with Wenger, Kroenke, Gazidis and so on. What's your thoughts on Arteta?
I think he's so different to what you've had that he wants to implement a philosophy, and he's probably not doing everything he can to get the points now. But you can see he's trying to do something. You can see what he's trying to do. You can see what he's trying to get out of the team. I like that in a manager. Now, can you have it forever? No. Eventually that philosophy's got to turn into something. But I liked him as a player. He's clear what he's about. He's got an identity, especially when you're playing well. If he can translate that into results, then I think he's going to do well for you. But I think everyone's got a time limit. I think everyone's got a period of time where you can try and implement something, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
I often say, it's hard to I'm of the belief that Arteta's not good enough for the job, he's not experienced enough for the job, and he should have never got it in the first place. But I also say that it could be right man, wrong time. We was so patient with Arsene Wenger, then we got Unai Emery, which was a turbulent time, and now it's Mikel Arteta, and I feel like, although he's only been, well, I say only, some will say only 2 years, some will say more than enough, 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arsenal fans' frustration date back a decade minimum. And all that frustration tends to come out on who's in charge now, which is a bit unfair. Like you said, when you see a philosophy, you need to give it time to, you know, grow, blossom, and come into fruition. But I think Arsenal fans were at a stage where time, you know, after the Invincibles, if you had told me it's going to be 16, 17, 18 years till you're next at the top, I would never have believed it. And time's just gone like that. Can we afford to see time go like that again? With Newcastle being taken over, Man City and Chelsea essentially overtaking us, not as a big club, but as a competitive club. And getting quite close in terms of size and big and whatnot.
I think it is hard, and maybe it is what you've said there. Maybe it's the right guy, wrong time. But, you know, ask yourself, I look at it, you know, from a completely outside perspective. It started going downhill towards the end of Wenger, and I could see the frustrations and, you know, all of this stuff. But
so you can understand that.
I get that side of it. But I think it got substantially worse under Emery, because I think at least you knew what Wenger was about. You knew who he was. I think Emery just, you know, didn't really bring anything to the table. I think it was, you know, he was doing all right.
And the language barrier was difficult with Emery as well, because we couldn't understand what he's also trying to bring. And, you know, the media and fans as well played a part in, you know, making fun out of it. And I think that slowly but surely divided
good
things.
evening and
exactly,
all
good
of
evening
stuff,
and
but,
whatnot. And there's banter, which, you know, you can laugh at some things, but there's also a bit of, like, come on.
I think if I look at the total time, with the exception of initially there was that little dip under Arteta that you had, I think the general direction seems to be going the right, not particularly quickly, but it seems to be going. So, you know, if I were an Arsenal fan, and if I, you know, I'd probably be frustrated if now was the time where they decided to make the change. I think it was a year ago or in a year. I think now's not the time. I think they should have done it
before 150 million spent, essentially. If you want a new manager come and you give him the 150, not...
Exactly. He's bought players that fit him. And, you know, he's obviously trying to emulate Pep in a lot of ways. It makes sense. And, you know, they're very specific in their style. You know, you ask about a great manager like Klopp, would he be able to go and just immediately take over the, you know, you don't know. So I think now they've spent that money. You've had some good results, you know, good result against Spurs especially. I think that lifts everyone at a club a little bit. So I was so annoyed with the Wolves result at the weekend, and a horrible way to do it. But I think that lifts everyone. I think you've just got to give him a little bit more time. I think it was either a year ago or, you know, give him the season.
I understand that. Especially outside looking in when it's not your club that's played with your emotions. That's why I like to talk to others, because sometimes I feel like, am I being too negative? Am I being unfair? So when you talk to opposition fans that are not too associated with a club, you get it's a breath of fresh air. And we started this with you being confident. Talking about our last fixtures, 2-2 against Palace wasn't great. You talked about yours just now against Wolves. It was 0-0 half time, 2-0 80th minute, and 3-2 by the final whistle. On to this game. We're both coming off the back of a poor weekend. What do you think?
I think from a momentum point of view, I think, you know, both games had 95th minute goals, but you were on the right side of it. And we were on the wrong side of it. And I saw Tyrone Mings come out and say it hurts, and to be honest, I hope it does. You know, because it hurt everyone watching it as a Villa fan. But I think it all comes down to Smith and his man management between then and now. Has he been able to lift him up? Has he been able to kind of invoke some kind of a response to go and let's translate that hurt into something positive on the pitch? I think it's a little bit easier. Yes, going into the game 2-2 with Palace would have been a disaster. But salvaging something out of, you know, nothing, I always think, you know, shows a bit of character.
Like you said, it's better to salvage something 90th minute than to lose it all.
100%. And, you know, you got to look at it as well, that as a manager, first season in, that's probably Vieira's cup final.
You saw how distraught he was when that goal went in. He was on his knees and just...
You know, it's a club he obviously loves, but it, you know, it would have been a massive thing for him. So he would have been more fired up than anything. So I think if Smith can get a reaction from our players. We should come out firing. We should come out with a little bit of passion. If he hasn't been able to do that, then I think it's going to be a little bit harder for us.
Yeah, let's get a prediction.
I'm going to go 3-1 Villa.
Yeah,
I'm going to go for. Yeah,
that is confident.
I don't think it will be a straightforward 3-1. I think it'll probably be one where we go either 1-0 or 2-0 up. You pull one back, and while you're throwing everything at it, we nick another one towards the end. But I think we've got goals in us. Watkins hasn't been great this season, but he's got a goal in him. Bailey, if he's fit, has got goals. Ings, he's been scoring, even a few from midfield and defence. So I think we've got goals in us. I think as long as the back line sorts out whatever that last 10 minutes was, then I think we can be confident going into it.
3-1. I just finished a podcast in the morning, Forever Arsenal podcast. Me, Lee, Judges, James and Jordan, and we do predictions there, and I was asked my prediction, and I've gone with a 2-1 Villa win.
Okay.
I just think the Palace performance coupled with the Brighton performance tells me that Arteta is on his last legs. We're yet to see a style of play that we really can get behind. We're yet to see a transition that is fluid, and that was a problem when he first came in.
Yeah.
And we're yet to see an attack that is not only free-flowing, but an attack that converts chances.
Yeah.
We're struggling this season. I mean, against Palace, we scored 2 rebounds. Obba's 2 goals this season have been essentially 2 rebounds.
Yeah.
So it's not looking great in the attacking side of things. I honestly feel like Arteta is holding on right now, and I think Villa, I often sit on the fence with these type of games and call a draw, but I just think after seeing what I saw against Palace, Villa are the better side, more threats. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Villa win, and Basuma was missing against Brighton, Zaha missing against Palace, their best players, and we still couldn't beat them both, whereas we're playing you this week with more or less a fully fit.
Yeah, we're hoping that's how.
Yeah,
we're hoping it's fully fit, and it'll be the first time. I want to see what he can do with everyone. That's what I want to see. We've always been missing someone. This whole international fiasco. We've got Brazilians, we've got Argentinians, all of this stuff. How international teams can't work out, the rules. But we haven't seen what I would call the starting 11 yet. I'm hoping that comes together on Friday night, and we can at least see a little bit of the process of gelling. Yeah.
Luke, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, mate.
Listen, people, let us know your prediction in the comment section below. I'm sorry, guys. It's just the way I feel. 2-1 Villa. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we can get the win and kick on to Leeds and Leicester in very good form. We'll see how it goes. Look out for Luke in the near future. Hopefully, he hasn't got any content out now, but hopefully in the future he will do. And I appreciate the love, guys. Hit the like button, share, do all of that, and tune in next week for the next Box to Box.